we've got a lot of people here. So before moving on to the actual presentation, I'd like to start off with asking the audience, you guys, one question. When you guys get to pick a job, what are your greatest values?
Money.
It could be salary, or like the working environment these days, maybe commuting time, or maybe even in these days, it could simply be wherever that hires you. Now let's think of this in a little different aspect. Would your answer to the same question stay exactly the same if it was 30 years earlier? What about 30 years after? Now putting this in mind, great evening guys. My name is Juhyun from majoring in business administration, and today I'm going to be talking about the corporation culture of Korea. To be more specific, I'm going to be talking about the historical background of the corporation culture, examine the main flaws, and then look at the possible changes that could take place. So now let's get started. Since the seminal movement of the Park Chung-hee's regime, Korea was in unison to re-establish the infrastructure and the living environment from the harsh chaos of the Korean War. The movement started by the modernization of agricultural activities and gradually moved on to urban cities and factories. And the specific contents of it included providing extra subsidies to the villages that progressed the most. And this created a whole new culture of labor and competition. This means that there were extra hours of working, labor, and also a performance-oriented value throughout the whole country. Based on this passion, we can say that Korea has grown up to work heavily and aggressively to obtain high return. So what does this mean? To examine this and to give credibility to the statement, this is a chart from OECD and talking about the working hours of each country. Korea, not pretty surprisingly, ranks second place here. This means that Korea is working very much hours and works very much hours and supports the fact that Korea is working aggressively and heavily. And since in the 21st century, where the people of Korea have sacrificed so much time and effort to recover from the economic crisis, is it still necessary for Korea to work with the past norms? To examine this, there are two questions that need to be answered. First of all, are the high labor hours actually effective? This is a chart comparing the productivity on the x-axis and the working hours per person on the y-axis. And as you can see, countries working a lot of hours actually seem to lack in productivity. In fact, this graph is forming a declining slope, which reflects the meaning that maybe countries working less work with more productivity. And this means that countries working a lot, the hours that Korea has worked actually and maybe weren't working that productively. And secondly, are employees still simply seeking high returns? In the past, we had a distinct goal to pursue and seek high return. In other words, money, high salary. But is this still true? From a research center called Universum, which is #1 in human resources, work-life balance and the working environment are also a main factor when considering a new job. And this means that despite the high or low salary, the working conditions are also within and out of the environment are also a key factor to consider when considering a new job. Based on what we have examined, we we can see that our existing corporation culture are definitely not the most effective nor the most ideal culture that we're practicing. We have come so far practicing the culture that we knew wasn't the best we could do for such a long time. In fact, it is time to adjust. Just like as someone said, wise men fix their own through other people's faults. It is time that Korea also changes and make corresponding changes to make a better future. Thank you for listening.